Today we look at another key to success, remembering to set goals. My goal was achieved. I was shaking houses and breaking windows with the bass in my stereo system. Okay, so in high school, as I was approaching the time for me to be a licensed driver, I had a plan and I had a goal with my vehicle. I had a plan of what I wanted and what I wanted to do with it. You see, my parents had a Toyota Celica, and that's the car I wanted to drive, right? It wasn't brand new, but that's the car that I wanted. And my goal was to have that car, buy some rims, some wheels, rims, whatever you want to call them, and make it loud with a stereo system that just had bass that would shake the neighboring neighborhood. So my plan was derailed when my father bought me an old Honda Accord. Now, Honda Accords are nice. I love Honda Accords. This was a Honda Accord that didn't even look good. I mean, it was kind of awkward. Stereo was kind of like up on top in the middle of the ceiling. It was a little bit weird. It was a little awkward. It was a manual transmission, but, stick shift, I dive in stick shifts. So the manual transmission wasn't really the issue. But I eventually just asked him, I'm going to remind you guys, I was not licensed yet. He bought this before I got my license. I was approaching the time to get my license. I eventually asked him, I said, Dad, can I just sell this car? Like, I can sell it and I think I can get enough money to get what I really want. And the whole time I was planning for that Celica, but I was going to settle maybe for something else, but I was still going to talk to him. So he said yes, and he kind of figured it was because it was a stick shift, and I didn't correct him. I just said, oh, well, I just want something different. So after we sold the car, my plan was to buy a better looking car, right? But he decided to let me drive the Celica, and I took it to mean as it is mine. I finally got what I wanted, right? Well, soon after, you know what I did? I cut the springs, right? Because I got rims, and then I cut the springs. I wanted that lowered look. Instead of buying new ones or doing it the right way, I just decided to go to my friend's garage and we cut them. And then he wasn't happy about that at all. He asked me one day, he said, Rodney, did you lower that vehicle? How'd you do it? And I told him he was not happy. He said, actually, to raise it back up. I never did. And I was working at the time, and most of you know I was working in fast food, and I also had a paper route early morning. So I was trying to get as much money as possible because what was next was the stereo. And I got, this is going to date me sometime, but I got a CD changer. And I remember back then they started putting CDs in vehicles, and you would have the one in the car. Then they started having these changers where you would mount in the back of your vehicle in the trunk, and they would hold 6. Well, I wanted to go for the Sony that held 10. I wanted to be big time, and I got that. My goal was achieved. I was shaking houses and breaking windows with the bass in my stereo system. The guys that probably annoy me to this day. Anyway, the goal was achieved. And so that's what we're talking about in today's podcast is setting goals. Welcome to the Rodney O Podcast.
Hey, this is Chance. My IG tag is at Chance_AK_Phillips. I've overcome addiction and changed my life. However, 2 things I'll never change is my love for God and the Rodney O Podcast, where you can hear stories like mine and other relevant topics. Stay tuned. This is the Rodney O Podcast.
Well, today's podcast is being recorded in February of 2019, and it's part of a daily month-long series titled Keys to Success. And today's key is a reminder to set goals. And I think a lot of people have big dreams. I just did a podcast called Dream Big. Little plug there. Check that out. But they want to be happy. That's kind of their goal, right? I want to be rich. I want to travel. Or they say something else that's very generic or kind of vague. Kind of just a big type dream that they want to have. And I think this is natural. I think it starts as kids, We play up our action figures, dolls, cars, little play kitchen, whatever you want to, remember. And we are creative. we're imaginative, and we usually tap into our desires and our dreams when we think about playing as a kid, right? But how do we get there? How do we get to these dreams and these goals? How do we get from where we are now to the point where I want to be rich, or I want to travel, or I want to be happy? How do we get to that place? Well, I think the first thing is we need to decide if we are talking about a dream or a wish. You see, the things that are holding us back from setting goals is our deep down belief, our faith, right? And I just did a podcast on that as well, another plug, right? And belief in our goal. If it's truly a goal, then we want to put action into place, right? We're going to do something about it. If it's a wish, then we really wouldn't put any action into place, right? It's the difference between putting out stepping stones. Kind of think of stepping stones as it's a path, right? And you're stepping on these stones to get us closer and closer to the goals. So it's the difference between that and not doing anything at all. If it's something that we truly believe we can achieve, then it's a goal. If it's something that we think we can never accomplish, or if we really don't have a desire, right? Then it's just a wish. Are we just saying like, oh, it would be nice if I had plenty of money? Or is it something that we really going to put work in towards? You see, if it's truly something that takes very little effort into, then it's not truly a goal. It may not even be a wish, but it's not classified as a goal in a sense of accomplishing huge success. For example, if my goal is to be successful and make a medium rare steak, that's nice. I love steak, by the way. Although it's a goal, right, I guess, I wouldn't call it a goal that belongs in the series Keys to Success, because that's just my opinion. That's just me. And it's my podcast, right? We would probably agree that's not a huge monumental goal that I would be talking about when I talk about keys to success. But let me make my point. The key point is this. Successful people set goals that push them and drive them to succeed in a specific area. And my goal of this podcast is not to discourage or change your mind about the goals that you have, the dreams you have, or the accomplishments that you're after. I simply want to make a point for you all to remember that setting goals is key, and you need to go out there and set goals. And so here are some things to remember when you're out there setting goals. First, think big. Write down a few big goals, right? Think something, that's kind of specific. Don't think vague. Don't be general. Just be really specific as far as a goal and write it down. Write down a few of them. Next, examine if your heart is really in that big goal, or is it just a wish? Again, it's just the kind of the goal versus the wish type of thing. Is it something that's, it'll be nice if, I think I'll be happy if, or is it something that you really, truly want to accomplish? And third, set milestones along the way with time frames to help guide you and direct your path. These are those stepping stones I'm talking about. If you have a huge goal to be really successful, then here's my first step, my next one, and my next one. And pretty soon you have a path kind of laid out there for you to follow so you can go ahead and crush and achieve your goals. But the key is set them in the first place. And that's what successful people do. Well, please feel free to dialogue with me. You can check my YouTube channel out, Rodney O, and I have a weekly vlog, Rodney O Weekly, that shows that I am living what I speak. Please be sure to subscribe to that channel. The link is in the podcast description, or you can simply go to YouTube and search Rodney O Weekly. And as always, this month, what I've been saying is, remember this: I want to inspire, encourage, and motivate all of you as you navigate this journey that we call life. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one.